I want to try something a little different to start today. I want you to close your eyes just for a second. Ignore the laundry. Ignore the commute. Just shut them. Picture a body of water, not the ocean. That's too big, too chaotic. Picture a pool. Maybe it's one of those infinity pools at a high-end resort, perfectly glass-like in the evening. Or maybe it's a small, dark garden pond. It's perfectly still. Silence. Now, imagine you were holding a single pebble. It's smooth, cool to the touch. You drop it right in the center. Blip.
It's a very meditative image.
It is, right.
Yeah.
You watch those perfect circles, those ripples, expanding outward. They're mathematically perfect rings moving away from the center. When they travel all the way to the edge of the pool. And usually when we do this kind of visualization, whether it's in like a yoga class or a therapy session, that's where the movie ends.
That's it. Yeah.
We focus on the release, the ripple goes out, and we feel better, be the pebble and all that.
Which is fine for relaxation, but it's incomplete physics.
Exactly. And that is why we are here today. We are going to look at what happens after the ripple hits the edge. Because I've been reading through this document, Harmonics of Being, the Standing Waves of Consciousness. And let me tell you, it completely dismantled that peaceful little pool visualization for me.
Oh, I bet.
It argues that the pool isn't just a metaphor for chilling out. It claims this is a precise structural model for how reality, ethics, and our actual day-to-day consciousness function.
It's a move from poetry to mechanics. That's the shift we're making today.
But it's a weird shift, isn't it? Because usually when we talk about things like karma or vibes or why I keep dating the same toxic personality types, we're talking in the realm of psychology or spirituality.
Right.
We are usually talking about wave mechanics.
And that's the problem, according to the source. When we treat those things as purely mystical, they feel random. They feel like magic. Harmonics of Being is attempting to ground these metaphysical concepts in the rigors of physics, specifically wave mechanics, interference patterns, and bounded systems.
Bounded systems. Okay, that's a key phrase we're going to be hearing a lot.
It is. The core premise here is, what if the universe, or at least the universe of your experience, isn't an infinite void? What if it has walls? And if it has walls, what happens to the energy you throw at them?
It comes back.
It reflects.
Right.
And that reflection changes everything about how we understand responsibility.
I have to admit, when I first started reading this, I felt a little resistant. It felt, I don't know, a little cold. To reduce human experience to interference patterns. It sounds like we're just equations.
I get that.
But the more I read, the more I realized it's actually trying to solve a problem we all have. The feeling that life is happening to us.
Right. The difference between feeling like you are fighting the ocean, constantly battered by waves you didn't see coming, and realizing that you are the water. And more importantly, that the wave hitting you right now might be the echo of a splash you made 3 years ago.
That's the hook. That's the deep dive today. We are exploring the standing waves of consciousness. We're going to unpack how physics can explain why intentions matter, why being nice isn't the same as being good, and why some patterns in our lives feel, well, impossible to break.
And we should probably warn you listening, this requires a bit of a mental gear shift. We're going to be using terms like phase, resonance, and interference, but we're not doing it to pass a test. We're doing it to understand why your life feels the way it feels.
So buckle up. Let's go back to the pool. Section 1 of our outline is the bounded universe and the myth of outside. I mentioned earlier that usually we've visualized the ripples going out and just disappearing. Why is that such a dangerous misconception?
Because it assumes an open system. In a physical pool in your backyard, you can get out. You can climb the ladder, dry off with a towel, go inside, make a sandwich. You are distinct from the water. If the water gets too cold or too choppy, you leave.
Right. I can exit the chat. I'm out.
You can exit the chat, exactly. But the source posits that metaphysically, in terms of the ocean of existence, there is no outside.
There is no outside. That sounds like a line from a horror movie. It's a little claustrophobic, isn't it?
It can feel that way if you're trying to escape yourself, for sure. But think about the physics of it. If the universe were truly infinite and unbounded, no edges, no limits, and you sent out a ripple of energy, a thought, an action, a scream, what would happen to it?
It would just keep going.
Forever. And it would eventually disperse. It would fade into the background noise of infinity. It would never return to you.
Yeah.
If it never returns, there is no feedback loop. If there is no feedback loop, there is no consequence.
Nothing matters. My scream, my kind word, it's all just gone.
Precisely. If I can scream into the void and the void never answers, my scream has no meaning. The boundary, the fact that the system is closed, is what creates the possibility of meaning. It's what allows for the conservation of information.
Conservation of information. Is that like
Or-
conservation of energy?
It's a very similar principle. In a closed system, information cannot be destroyed. Every thought, every intention, every action you take propagates through the medium. It hits the edge of the system, whatever that boundary of reality is, and it reflects back. It isn't lost. It isn't erased. It is processed and returned.
So nothing I do just goes away.
Nothing. It is only changed.
See, that's the part that terrifies me. Because we all have those moments. Maybe we were a jerk to someone in traffic, or we told a lie to get out of trouble. We think, phew, got away with that.
Yeah, we wipe our hands of it.
We think because the immediate moment passed, the energy is gone.
That's the illusion of the open system. We think because the ripple left our immediate visual field, it ceased to exist. But if the pool is bounded, that ripple is bouncing off the far wall, it's interacting with other ripples, and eventually the geometry dictates it must return to the source.
So this is the physics explanation for the old saying, what goes around comes around.
Yes, but without the moral judgment. Usually when we say what goes around comes around, we imagine a judge, a cosmic parent keeping a tally.
Right. Santa Claus physics. The naughty or nice list.
Exactly. You are bad, so I will send this back to hurt you. The text argues reality is not a courtroom. It is a resonance chamber. It is harmonic. The energy returns not because it is angry at you, but because that is what waves do in a bounded medium.
Okay, so we are trapped in the pool with our own ripples. There's no lifeguard to blow the whistle. It's just us and the physics.
We are the pool, we are the water, the walls, and the swimmer. All of it.
Let's get into the mechanics of this water then. Because the title of the source material is Harmonics of Being, not Ripples of Being. And there is a huge distinction made between a ripple and a standing wave.
This is the critical technical distinction. If you don't get this, you don't get the rest of the theory. It's foundational.
Okay, I'm going to need you to break this down because I barely passed high school physics. To me, a wave is a wave. What is a standing wave?
Okay, simple analogy. Imagine you have a rope tied to a wall. You hold the other end. If you flick your wrist once, you send a pulse, a ripple, down the rope. It travels to the wall, hits it, and flips back. That's a traveling wave.
Got it. I can see that.
Now imagine you start shaking your hand rhythmically, up and down at a steady speed. You are sending a continuous train of ripples toward the wall.
Okay, I'm shaking the rope. It's getting messy.
It would be a mess unless you find the perfect rhythm. If you shake it at just the right frequency, something magical happens. The outgoing waves and the incoming waves align perfectly. The rope looks like it stops traveling. It forms these stationary loops that just vibrate up and down in place.
Oh, I've seen this, like in a science experiment video. It looks like a guitar string vibrating. It doesn't look like it's moving left or right. It just looks like a shape that is pulsing.
Exactly. That is a standing wave. It is dynamic energy is rushing through it constantly, but the structure is stable. It has a shape.
Okay, beautiful image. I'm with you. But what does this have to do with me being a person?
The text asserts that in consciousness, this is the leap. The ripple represents action.
What you do.
What you do. And the standing wave represents being.
Who you are.
Who you are being in this moment.
Whoa. Okay, hold on. Ripples are actions.
Yes. Words spoken, checks written, hugs given, emails sent. These are transient disturbances in the field. They move out from you. They are momentary. But the standing wave is the stable pattern of vibration that you are holding continuously. It's the result of all your outgoing signals merging with your reflected history. It's your baseline.
So my standing wave is like my personal hum, my operating frequency.
It's your structure. And here's where it gets really interesting. We tend to judge ourselves and others by ripples.
I did a good thing, therefore I am good.
Right. I bought flowers, so I'm romantic. I apologize, so I'm humble. But the physics says the ripple is secondary. The ripple is just the momentary displacement. The standing wave is the source.
The source gives a really good example of this, the context problem. I think this is where the theory actually clicked for me. It talked about two people saying the exact same sentence.
Yes. This is the perfect way to illustrate why the ripple, the action, matters less than the standing wave, the being. Let's play it out. The sentence is, we need to talk.
Oh, God. My stomach dropped just hearing you say that.
Exactly. We all have a reaction to that. Now imagine person A says it. Person A has a standing wave, a state of being that is grounded, clear, and safe. Maybe they are your best friend who has always had your back. They say, hey, we need to talk.
Okay. If it's that friend, I might feel a little nervous, but mostly I feel, I don't know, attended to, like, okay, let's solve something. The energy is collaborative.
The ripple, the words, lands as an invitation. Now imagine person B. Person B has a standing wave of judgment or control or maybe suppressed anger. They haven't yelled, they haven't cursed, they use the exact same volume and tone. We need to talk.
Yeah, that feels like a threat. That feels like I'm about to be attacked. My shields go up immediately.
But why? If I recorded both on a spectrograph, the sound waves might be nearly identical. The action is the same, but the impact is diametrically opposite.
Because of the vibe. That's the only word I have for it.
Vibe is just our slang for the standing wave. We are sensing the underlying structure, not just the surface ripple. We are brilliant at this. We sense the difference between love that is an obligation and love that is a free offering.
This is actually huge for communication. Because I feel like we spend our whole lives trying to perfect the ripple. We script our difficult conversations. We read books on how to win friends and influence people. We try to say the right thing.
Or polish the ripple. That's a great way to put it.
But if my standing wave is rotten, if I'm actually seething with resentment, but I'm using nonviolent communication words, like those I statements.
It won't work. The listener will feel the dissonance. They will hear the polite words, but they will feel the resentment. And they will likely react to the resentment, not the words.
And then I get to say, but I was so polite. I didn't yell. You're being crazy.
Which creates more interference. This is why the source says, ethics lives in the standing wave, not just the action. You cannot act your way out of a structural frequency problem.
That's a tough pill to swallow. It means I can't just fake it. I can't just follow a script and expect a good outcome if my internal state is a mess.
You can fake a ripple. You cannot fake a standing wave. The standing wave is the sum total of your reality.
Okay, so if I can't fake it and I can't just script it, how do I actually influence this? This brings us to section 3, intention. Now, usually intention is the thing I hide behind when I mess up. I didn't mean to hurt you.
The good intentions defense. It's the most common defense in human history.
I was trying to help. I just wanted you to be happy. My heart was in the right place.
The source material is actually quite brutal on this point. It basically says, physics doesn't care about your sentimental excuse.
Ouch. Okay.
It's not saying intention doesn't matter. It's saying intention doesn't work the way we think it works. We think intention is a moral label. We slap on an action to make it okay. The text reframes intention as phase.
Okay, we're back to physics terms. Phase. Explain it like I'm 5, or maybe like I'm 12. Let's start there.
Okay, think of 2 waves again. A wave has a peak, which is the high point, and a trough, which is the low point. If 2 waves meet and their peaks line up perfectly, peak hits peak, they add up, they get bigger. That is constructive interference. That is being in phase.
Okay. Like a choir singing in harmony, the sound gets huge.
Exactly. Coherence. The signal is amplified. Now imagine one wave is at its peak and the other is at its trough. They collide, the peak fills in the trough, they cancel each other out. That is destructive interference. That is out of phase.
Like noise-canceling headphones.
Precisely. Noise-canceling headphones listen to the noise of the airplane engine and then generate a sound wave that is exactly the opposite phase. Peak meets trough. Silence.
So how does this apply to me meaning well when I say I meant well?
The text argues that intention acts as the phase alignment of your ripple. Let's look at helping. It's a great example. If you help someone from a place of genuine, clear love, your phase is aligned. The signal is coherent. Constructive interference. The help lands, the person feels supported, the energy grows between you.
Good. Simple enough.
But let's say you are helping from a place of fear. You are afraid they will fail. You're afraid of what people will think of you if they fail. You are anxious. Anxiety and fear are, mathematically speaking in this model, noisy signals. They have scrambled phases.
So I'm sending a help ripple, but it's wrapped in anxiety noise. It's a fuzzy signal.
Yes. So when that wave hits the other person, it doesn't create coherence. It creates distortion. It creates static. So you are frantically trying to fix their problem, your action, but they feel agitated, annoyed, and dismissed. That's the result.
And then I get mad because they aren't grateful.
Look at all I'm doing for you.
Why are you snapping at me? I'm helping.
But I'm not helping. I'm transmitting noise. My good intention is actually polluting the interaction.
You are transmitting distortion. The source has a quote that really stuck with me. Harm can occur without malicious intent, and healing can occur without conscious virtue. It's not about being a good person or a bad person. It's about being a coherent system versus an incoherent system.
That's unnerving.
Yeah,
It means I can be a good person. I
Yeah.
can donate to charity, call my mom, recycle. But if my internal signal is driven by guilt or fear, I'm actually polluting the pool.
You are adding noise to the field. Think about dismissiveness. That's another phase issue. If you listen to someone, but you are internally dismissive, you're just waiting for them to stop talking so you can say your thing. You are attenuating the signal. You are actively dampening their wave. You are erasing them. Energetic.
Yeah, I feel it. They always feel it.
Instantly. Even if you are nodding and saying, uh-huh, it's a form of destructive interference.
This circles back to the idea that we can't lie. Not really. Not to the physics of the system.
We can lie to our ears. We can't lie to the standing wave.
So, if intention is phase and being is the standing wave, this leads to the question, what kind of world are we actually living in? Because if my internal state is coloring everything, does that mean I'm seeing a different world than you?
Yes, literally. This brings us to the filter of experience.
Section 4. This part felt a little, I don't know, a little matrix-y to me.
It is a bit, but it's also basic neuroscience, elevated to metaphysics. At any given moment, reality is filled with infinite data points. I mean, billions of photons, sound waves, smells, micro-expressions on people's faces. Possibility is infinite.
It's way too much for us to process.
Yeah.
We'd be
Yeah,
overwhelmed.
way too much. If you perceived everything, you'd go catatonic. So you need a filter, you need a tuner. Your standing wave is the tuner. It collapses the infinite possibilities into a specific experience. It amplifies the frequencies that match it, and it dampens or ignores the ones that don't.
Like a radio. If I'm tuned to 98.5, I don't hear 101.1.
Yeah.
Even though 101.1 is in the room.
Exactly. The signal is there, but it's not part of your reality. The source uses the beach example. This is a classic, but let's give it the harmonics treatment. Two people standing on the exact same shoreline. Same sunset, same breeze.
Okay. Person A and person B again.
Person A has a standing wave of, let's say, gratitude, openness, peace. They look at the ocean, what do they see?
They see the colors in the sky, the majesty of it all. They hear the soothing rhythm of the waves. They feel small, but in a good way, connected.
Right. Their filter selects for beauty. Their reality collapses into beauty. Now, person B. Let's say person B is holding a standing wave of grief. Or perhaps survival anxiety. They just got laid off. They look at the exact same water. What do they see?
They see the dark water, the cold. They think about drowning. They see the trash on the sand that person A didn't even notice. They feel the wind is biting, not refreshing. Danger.
Is the ocean beautiful or dangerous?
It's both. Or neither. I'm not sure.
In the realm of potential, it is everything. But in the realm of experience, it is only what the standing wave permits. Person B isn't wrong. The ocean is dangerous, the trash is there, but because their standing wave is tuned to threat, reality collapses into threat.
So we aren't just observing the world, we are. We're curating it. We're co-creating it in real time.
We are collapsing it. We are active participants in selecting which version of reality manifests for us.
This is a slippery slope, though. Because if we say you create your own reality, that can get really toxic really fast. It sounds like, oh, you're depressed, just change the channel.
And that's a dangerous oversimplification, which is why the distinction between a ripple and a standing wave is so important. You can't just change the channel with the snap of your fingers. That would be a ripple. You can't just decide to be happy in 5 seconds.
Right.
A standing wave is a stable structure. It has momentum. It has history. It's built up over years. Changing a standing wave takes immense energy and consistency. It's not a mood swing. It's a structural renovation.
That makes more sense. It's like turning a battleship, not flicking a light switch.
Exactly. And this leads us directly into the most controversial part of the text, karma.
I was waiting for this. Section 5. Now, I have to be the skeptic here. Because karma is a loaded word. And historically, it's been used to victim blame. Oh, you were born poor, must have been a bad person in a past life, you got hit by a car, what was your vibration attracting? I hate that stuff. It feels cruel.
And the source material agrees with you. It explicitly rejects the moral bookkeeping model of karma.
So there's no guy in the sky checking the ledger, no cosmic scorecard.
No. And it rejects the idea of punishment. Gravity doesn't punish you when you fall off a ladder. It's just gravity. The text redefines karma as the reinforcement of standing waves, or simply resonance.
Okay, unpack that. How is that different from I deserved this? Because it sounds kind of similar on the surface.
Think about the feedback loop. You emit a signal, which is based on your standing wave. The bounded universe reflects that signal. Because the universe is full of other waves, your signal tends to resonate with things that are like it, like attracts, Like, isn't magic, it's mechanics. If you strike a C note tuning fork, only the other C note tuning forks in the room will start vibrating. The E notes will stay silent.
Okay. So if I'm vibrating at C note, I wake up the other C notes. I activate them.
Yes. And then those C notes send energy back to you, which makes your C note vibrate harder. It reinforces the pattern. This creates a stable loop, a rut, or a groove. That stability is karma.
So karma isn't the event that happens to you. Karma is the pattern you are stuck in.
Precisely. Karma is the momentum of the structure. Let's look at the repetitive life phenomenon. We all know this one. Why do I keep getting bosses who micromanage me? Why do all my friends eventually take advantage of me?
Why does this keep happening to me? That's the cry, isn't it?
It is. And the moral bookkeeping view would say, you are being punished for a sin. The victim view says, the world is just full of jerks and I am unlucky. The Harmonics view says, you are holding a standing wave, perhaps of insecurity or lack of boundaries, that acts as a perfect socket. The micromanager is the plug. You are resonating at a frequency that makes you visible and attractive specifically to that type of energy.
That is confronting. That's a hard one to hear.
It is. It's a very difficult thing to accept.
So if I'm in an abusive relationship, are you saying I'm attracting the abuse?
Yeah.
Because that sounds like it's your fault. And that's where this gets really dangerous.
This is the danger zone of the theory. We have to be very, very precise here. It is not your fault in a moral sense. You didn't ask to be hurt. But structurally, there may be a resonance. If your standing wave is built on a belief like, I am not worthy of safety or love equals pain, a belief you might not even be conscious of, you're broadcasting a signal that an abuser can latch onto. The abuser is 100% responsible for their actions. Their ripples are their own. But the connection, the fact that you two locked into orbit, is a function of the dual standing waves.
So the abuser is the shark, but my standing wave is putting blood in the water. Is that too harsh?
I think a better analogy might be, your standing wave is leaving the back door unlocked. You aren't causing the burglary. The burglar is the criminal. But the structural state of the house, the unlocked door, permitted the entry.
Okay, I can see the distinction. It's subtle, but it's there. But this actually feels empowering in a weird way, because if it's just bad luck, I can't fix it. I'm helpless. But if it's resonance, I can change the frequency.
Exactly. You can't control the sharks. But you can get out of the water. Or you can build a boat, the text says. You cannot change your life by forcing different outcomes. That means manipulating ripples. You can't just yell at the boss to stop micromanaging. You must alter the standing wave. You have to change the internal structure, the self-worth, the boundary setting that invited the pattern in the first place.
And when you change the standing wave,
Yeah.
the resonance breaks.
Yes. And often the external situation falls apart rapidly. The boss fires you or you quit. The partner leaves.
Yeah.
Because there is no longer a magnetic lock. The plug doesn't fit the socket anymore.
The C note stops singing, so the other C notes go quiet.
Exactly.
But we aren't alone in this pool. I mean, it's not just me and my tuning fork. It's a cacophony out there. Section 6, shared fields and collective dynamics. This is where I struggle, because I can work on my own standing wave all day, but then I walk into a family dinner, or I open Twitter or X or whatever it's called now, or I watch the news, and I feel my wave getting crushed.
Interference patterns again. We're back to that. We are social creatures. Our pools are connected. When you interact with someone, you are not just exchanging words. You are exchanging energy. You are processing their ripples.
And some people's ripples are tsunamis. They're just huge waves of negativity or chaos. The text talks about the transformation of energy. What happens when I get hit by someone else's bad vibe?
Physics says energy cannot be destroyed. So when someone dumps their anger on you, they scream at you, that energy enters your system. You have two choices. One, you absorb it. Or two, you transform it. Or reflect it.
I feel like I'm an absorber. I think a lot of listeners are. We call ourselves empaths. We feel everything.
The text calls this the absorber trap. Many of us have been taught that being a good person or a good friend means absorbing the pain of others. Tell me your problems. Let me carry this for you. Let me take on your stress.
We think that's love? We think that's being a good partner or a good child.
It feels like love, but physically, in this model, what are you doing? You are taking high-amplitude, chaotic noise, their trauma, their anger, and you're letting it invade your own standing wave.
And if I do that enough,
Your wave collapses, you lose your own coherence, you become sick, exhausted, burned out, or cynical. You have become the noise. And here is the kicker. Does it help them?
I mean, they feel better after venting for a little while.
Temporarily. But you haven't solved the structural problem. You've just become a dumpster for their static. You haven't helped them tune their instrument. You've just dirtied yours. And now there are 2 out-of-tune instruments in the room.
So what is the alternative? Do we just put up a wall? Talk to the hand? That seems cold. That doesn't feel right either.
The source suggests true liberation isn't a wall. Walls are rigid. Walls reflect energy back violently. If you put up a wall to an angry person, they just get angrier. It escalates. The goal is transparency or transformation.
Explain that. What does that look like?
Okay, imagine a string that is pulled incredibly tight and is vibrating strongly at its own pure note. A perfectly tuned guitar string. If a weak, chaotic wind hits it, the string doesn't stop singing. It cuts through the wind. The wind passes around it. The string maintains its standing wave.
So I stay in my frequency even while you are in yours. I don't get pulled into your chaos.
Yes. You witness their pain. You offer compassion. But you do not become their pain. You let their ripples pass through you without letting them become your structure.
That sounds incredibly hard. That sounds like a superpower.
It is the work of a lifetime. But the text argues this is the only way to truly help. If you can maintain a coherent, calm, loving, standing wave in the face of chaos, you act as a literal tuning fork for the room. You don't have to do anything. Your stability invites them to entrain to you. You pull them up, you don't let them pull you down.
Don't let external chaos become internal identity. That's a line from the text that jumped out at me.
That's the mantra. The goal isn't zero impact. We always affect each other. The goal is better harmonics. You want to be a source of clear signal, not just another repeater of noise.
This leads to a question that I know is burning in the minds of our listeners. Because it burns in mine. We're talking about personal responsibility, tuning forks, keeping our side of the street clean. But what about the big stuff? What about the billionaires destroying the planet? What about dictators starting wars? What about systems that crush people? It often feels like these people, the large circles of power, are totally exempt from these laws. They create massive ripples of suffering, and they're drinking champagne on a yacht. Where is the feedback loop? Where is the boundary for them?
This is section 7, grace in the large circle, and I'm glad you brought up the anger because that's usually where we start. It's not fair.
It's not. It feels like they're playing a different game with different rules.
The physics of the standing wave applies to systems as well as individuals, but we have to look at wavelength. Think of a small ripple in a teacup. It goes out, hits the edge, comes back, takes maybe 1 second. Fast feedback.
Okay. That's me being rude to a waiter and instantly feeling bad. The reflection is immediate.
Exactly. Now think of a tsunami in the Pacific Ocean. The wavelength is miles long. It travels for hours, maybe days before it hits a shore and reflects. Power equals mass. Large systems, empires, corporations, powerful individuals have massive mass. They operate on very, very long wavelengths.
So the ripple goes out. A ripple of, say, exploiting a workforce.
And it creates destruction. But because the circle is so huge, the reflection takes a long time to return. This creates a period of temporal dispersion. To the observer, to us, it looks like they got away with it. Look, he exploited all those people and he's still rich.
He escaped the pool.
No, he just pushed the water so hard that the wave hasn't come back yet. But in a bounded system, nothing leaves. The text warns, the longer the delay, the more force the consequences carry when they finally return.
So it's like a debt accumulating interest.
A massive debt. Think about the fall of empires. Rome, the French monarchy, Enron, they seem invincible. They seem to act without consequence for decades. And then...
Rash. And it's never a slow decline, is it? It's always a sudden, total collapse.
It is. And it's not a gentle stumble. It is a catastrophic collapse.
Yeah.
Because all that reflected energy, decades of it, returns at once. Constructive interference of the negative kind.
So the delay isn't a get-out-of-jail-free card.
The source calls the delay grace.
Grace? It's a weird word for it. It sounds benevolent.
It redefines grace. Usually we think grace means forgiveness. God let me off the hook. Here, grace means time lag. The universe gives you a gap between the action and the consequence. Why?
So we have time to change, to see what we did and fix it.
Exactly. If every time you had a selfish thought you instantly got a migraine, you would be conditioned like a dog. You wouldn't be moral, you'd just be avoiding pain. You'd be a robot. The time lag gives you the freedom to look at what you did, analyze it, and change your standing wave before the wave comes back to crush you.
So the delay is an opportunity, it's a chance to learn.
It is the space for free will, but for the large circle actors who refuse to change, who use the delay to just double down on the harm, they are converting grace into potential energy. They are building a bomb that will detonate in their own house.
That is dark, but also satisfying. in a physics kind of way. It satisfies that deep need for justice. It's not about revenge, it's about equilibrium.
The harmonics always balance.
Yeah.
Eventually. The books always balance.
Okay, we've covered the universe, the self, the other, and the system. We have about 10 minutes left. I want to get practical. Section 8, ethics as wave hygiene. Because right now this is all very heady. If I'm a listener and I buy this theory, what do I do tomorrow morning? How do I practice wave hygiene?
I love that term, wave hygiene. It implies it's something you do daily, like brushing your teeth. The first shift is in how you ask questions. Old model. Did I do the right thing? Was I justified? Are they wrong? These are backward-looking questions. They're about judging ripples that have already happened.
Okay, so what's the new model? What's the better question?
The new model is, what standing wave am I stabilizing right now? Does this thought, this action, increase coherence or distortion in my system? It's a real-time monitoring of your signal.
Give me a scenario. I'm about to walk into a meeting with a boss I hate. My stomach is tight. I'm rehearsing arguments in my head. My standing wave is screaming, combat. How do I tune that?
First, stop focusing on the script. Stop focusing on the ripples. Stop rehearsing what you will say. That's just reinforcing the combat wave. Focus on the hum. Physicalize it. Notice the tightness. That is the noise. You have to manually introduce a coherent signal. For some, that's breath. Coherent breathing literally aligns your heart rate variability. It forces a sine wave into your biology. For others, it's a visualization of a specific quality. I am choosing clarity.
Not I am choosing to win.
No, winning requires the other to lose. That's interference. Clarity is a self-contained state. Safety is a self-contained state. If you walk into that meeting holding a frequency of calm clarity, one of two things happens. One, the boss feels no hook for their aggression, there's no resonance, and they deflate. Or two, they attack, but it passes through you because you aren't vibrating at the frequency of victim.
So the hygiene is, check your signal before you broadcast. And during and after.
Constantly. And the second part of the hygiene is responsibility without guilt. This is crucial.
Yeah, talk about that. Because when I hear everything is my frequency, I immediately go to, it's all my fault, I'm a piece of garbage.
Which is noise. That's just more distortion. Guilt is a distorted frequency. Shame is a low-energy collapsing wave. If you recognize you are broadcasting static and then you pile guilt on top of it, you are just adding more static. You are making the pool dirtier.
So what do I do instead of feeling guilty?
You take responsibility. Responsibility is neutral. It's mechanical. Oh, look, my guitar is out of tune. I am sounding sharp. Do you scream at the guitar, you bad guitar, you stupid guitar?
No, of course not. I just turn the peg. I tune it.
Exactly. You tune the instrument. I was reactive just now. Okay, I acknowledge it. I am resetting my frequency to patience. Done. No drama, no story, just tuning.
That is surprisingly liberating. It takes the heavy emotional weight out of being good. It just becomes being functional.
Does this signal serve the system? If yes, amplify. If no, dampen and retune. It's a very pragmatic approach to ethics.
We're coming to the end here. I want to try to summarize this massive download. The source gave us a one-sentence model. Let's see if we can land it.
Let's try. Actions are ripples.
Transient, on the surface.
Intention is phase.
Alignment, coherence, the quality, the signal.
Being is the standing wave.
The structure, the identity, the hum.
And karma is the field learning what to reinforce.
The feedback loop, the resonance. It really hangs together, doesn't it? It integrates physics, psychology, and ethics without them fighting each other.
It suggests that the universe isn't testing you. It's reflecting you. And that clarity, seeing the reflection for what it is the only way out of the loop.
The text ended with that beautiful line. Clarity is the deepest form of freedom.
In a bounded universe, you cannot leave. You cannot escape the water. So freedom is an exit. Freedom is mastery. It's learning to swim, it's learning to surf, it's learning to be a vessel of clear water in a muddy pool.
I think that's going to stick with me. Freedom is an exit. We spend so much time trying to get out of things. Out of relationships, out of jobs, out of uncomfortable feelings. But if the physics is true, we take the standing wave with us.
Right.
We take the pattern to the next job, the next relationship.
Wherever you go, there you are. Because you are the wave.
Well, I feel like my brain has been stretched, folded, and put through a wash cycle.
A coherent wash cycle, I hope?
I think so. It's a lot to process, but it's the good kind of heavy. It feels solid. Before we sign off, I want to leave our listeners with the final provocative thought from the source material. It's a question, and I want you to actually answer it for yourself in the quiet moment after this deep dive ends.
It's a challenge. It's a real call to self-reflection.
Stop looking at your to-do list. Stop looking at your ripples. Ask yourself, what standing wave am I stabilizing right now? If your life was a frozen image of vibration, what shape would it be? Are you stabilizing stress? Are you stabilizing resentment? Are you stabilizing the very thing you think you are fighting against?
Because the pool doesn't lie. The reflection is already telling you the answer.
Watch your ripples, everyone. But more importantly, check your frequency. Thanks for diving deep with us.
See you in the pool.
We'll see you in the next one.